Hey, pretty.
Hi, Alana. How are you?
Good. Hey, Brandy. Hey, everybody.
Hi, can you hear me?
Can you hear?
Yeah. Is that Matt?
Okay,
Oh, no. Okay.
that's me.
Hey, how you doing,
Hey,
girl? I
good.
wanted to practice sharing
I
the
don't get that
PowerPoint. Only one
background.
of you have it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is a pretty background.
Yeah, Alana, see
Um,
if you can share it.
Hold on. If not, let me make you a co-host.
Remind me
Let's
again,
see.
these are students that have already decided and been accepted to ECU or
No, prospective students, and they could be like high school sophomores, juniors, seniors, maybe even freshmen. They
oh,
could be from the community college, so it's they could be decided, they could not.
Do we know how many are attending?
22 signed up, so we'll see how many. I would say yield is usually between 20 and 30% for these events. So,
And I'm doing this. I was just told that when the child life slide pops up, then I talk. Is that right?
It's the
yeah,
first one.
Just
I'm gonna,
few
I'm gonna
little
share.
blurb. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try to share it now. Can y'all see that?
yeah.
Mhm.
And I click here. Okay. And so it just pretty much starts with introducing all the majors and then the minor. And then we go into each one, taking a closer look at each one. And so all of them pretty much follow the same guideline. When you see this, that means that's your section. Every section starts just like this. So the child life section, the first one talks about what you do. The next slide talks about where you work. The next one is about the academic part. And then the last one is just final notes. And every single one is the same way. This is FCS, what we do, where we work, academic, and final notes. Birth through kindergarten, where we do, where we work, academics, final notes. And
Okay.
family and consumer sciences, same thing. And then we end with the minor. Um, and that's just that one slide for the minor.
Right.
Now
And do
I have
we actually read all the, like, explain every detail about the GPA and things like that? Or is it more just talk,
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
read everything that's on the slide?
And you can, you know, just improvise too. You know, just
Extempore,
add.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Just like we do with like orientation or just explain, open houses.
Okay.
so
And for all our guests, oh, sorry. I was going to
are
say for all
you
our guests,
okay, go ahead.
thank you. Oh, for all our guests, thank you for being on here already. We're going to get
Oh, okay.
started. We'll give people time to get in. So we'll start in about 3 or 4 more minutes. But if you would like to introduce yourself in the chat, we would love to hear from you. So, and like I said, we'll get started in a few minutes. So thank you.
I'll stop the share. Okay, okay, so they were in here. I didn't know. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I don't know how to set. I didn't set it up, so I don't know how to like.
Oh, yeah, last time it was just us at first
Oh, okay.
and then Mac later. It's fine. It's good that
Um,
they know we're prepared.
yeah.
Want to get everything right for 'em.
Hi, Serenity. Welcome. We're so excited you could join us. And Raven, right here in town, in Pitt. Hi, Leslie. All right, well, we will go ahead and get started. My name is Kelly Hill. I'm the director of the CHHP Advising Center, and I'll let our other guests introduce themselves. Um, and what we're going to do tonight is go over our Department of Human Development and Family Science, which has four majors in it. So we're going to be briefly talking about each of our four majors, what kind of careers you can get, requirements, those types of things. And then at the end, we'll open it up to Q&A and let you guys ask questions. Or if you have questions while we're going through, you can put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. And we may have a student joining us in just a little bit. Let's see, Alessandra. She's a child life student, so she may be a few minutes late, but she was working on getting here because she's in her internship right now. So I'll go ahead and let our panel introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Dr. Freeman. I'm over the Family and Consumer Sciences program in HDFS, and I've been working at ECU for 2 years now. And uh, welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brandy Harris. I am the advisor for Human Development and Family Science. I've been advising for the past 8 years, but I've worked at ECU for the past 16 years. So welcome, everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Preeti Desai. I am a faculty member in HDFS. I teach primarily in the Child Life program, and I've been here for very long, 22 years, and loving it. So welcome.
Thank you. And if you just have general questions about ECU, Ms. Harris and myself are both alumni, so we can try to give you it's going to be different from our students' perspective because that was a long time ago, but we can try to help you with that as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Freeman and our panel to go over our four majors.
Alrighty. I also am a alumni. I'm a proud pirate myself. So I majored in uh, family and community services, and Brandy will be talking about that a little later. But yeah, we're proud parent pirates over here as well. So just welcome to the College of Health and Human Performances. What we're going to do tonight is just give you a brief overview of all the programs within the Department of Human Development and Family Sciences. Okay. These are the four majors: child life, family and community services, which is abbreviated as FCS on the ECU campus, and birth through kindergarten teacher education, and family and consumer sciences, which is abbreviated as FACS on East Carolina University. The last two, birth through kindergarten and family and consumer sciences, will both lead you up to a teacher license where you can graduate with your teacher license upon completing the praxis requirements. We also do have a minor in HDFS. So if you are have like a criminal justice as your major and you want to get to a point where you understand the human development aspect and the family relations, say you want to work with children in law enforcement, this will be a perfect minor to kind of marry that and give you the best of both worlds. So just because you may not be a major in HDFS, you can definitely get the human development and family relations minor to give you a cutting edge, especially if you're someone that's going into speech language pathology or either law. Maybe you want to be a family lawyer. So that minor will come in very handy depending on your career goals. So let's take a closer look at the programs, and we're going to start with child life.
Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So let me talk a little bit about what child life specialists do. Primarily, if you do enjoy or think about working with children in healthcare settings or in settings where children in general are experiencing some stress, and you want to help the children cope and work with the families as well, this would be a great major for you. So certified child life specialists are educated and clinically trained in the developmental impact of illness and injury. So while child life specialists can work in any other community-based settings, currently our role is more focused on children in pediatric healthcare settings. So we really help children and families to cope with just being in that stressful environment, because you can imagine that for children and teenagers even, going to the hospital can be frightening, stressful. They worry about what's going to happen to them, what's going to hurt, what's not going to hurt, will they be separated from parents? So there's all kinds of different stressors, along with just dealing with the actual diagnosis. So we work alongside with the interdisciplinary team members to help a child understand their illness, their diagnosis, their procedures, why they're having them, and then we provide them support to cope with them. And we do that through play and education and providing therapeutic activities to promote self-expression, pain management. It's just a lot of really neat interventions that we provide. Next slide. So where do we work? With an undergraduate degree, a bachelor's degree in child life, our young professionals entering the field would be prepared to work in hospitals, in child development service agencies. So that's more like an early intervention field where you have to get a slightly extra additional credentialing, but you can work with children with developmental needs, such as cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, any other needs. If a child was born prematurely and they started their life in the neonatal ICU, they're going to be followed hopefully by their CDSA. And so individuals with child life degree can work in these settings, in community outreach programs, private medical and dental programs, special needs camps. So these are medical specialty camps. So camps for children with heart defects, cancer, cystic fibrosis. There are lots of these specialty camps where we bring children with similar diagnoses together for a weekend or a whole week of just camaraderie, friendship, play, therapeutic activities. And so child life specialists can work in these settings as well. And then this is not very common, but you can work in hospice services and then in the health department, in which you work along with the nurses and other providers to help children cope with their current stressor through age-appropriate, culturally sensitive emotional support. And one thing I want to stress is we work not only with children, but also with the parents and any caregivers and family members. So all ECU undergraduate degrees, they require a total 120 hours to graduate. And so the breakdown for our Child Life program is, broken down for the general education requirements that all majors would have. So 40 total hours with English, science, social science, arts, humanities, math, health and exercise courses. And then your Child Life courses that total about 80 hours. Overall, it's a highly competitive major to get into. A student would need to maintain a GPA of 3.80 and higher. And then the competitive part is getting the practicums and internships. So these are to be completed in children's hospitals or actually any setting now with new guidelines where there is a certified child life specialist that is employed with a certain number of minimum hours, etc. So we are aiming to prepare our students to sit for the certification exam. And if at some point they change their interest, we are working to create an optional internship that the students can take that then they will not be able to take the certification exam. Many students double major with FCS, and then you start with your core courses, the HDFS 1103 and 2000, the core child development courses that Ms. Harris will be able to explain. And again, we have a good program. We're sought after. This is one of the only child life degree programs in North Carolina that offers an actual undergraduate degree in child life. So it's a face-to-face program. It's offered on campus. Again, you have to have that 3.0 GPA to enroll. And yeah, it is. I just read that this is the only program yes, the one with a complete degree in child life. We're the only program in North Carolina. And so students have to be in our major in order to receive the degree. We do require a minimum of 50 volunteer hours in order to be able to declare the major. So again, we have a series of courses starting with the Introduction to Child Life where students will be provided this guidance. So it's a lot of fun. This photograph is from Camp Whole Heart, which is a camp we do for children with complex heart defects. It's a weekend camp, and our Child Life students get to participate in that. It's optional, but we encourage everyone to do so. So that's a little bit about us.
All right. Hey, everyone. Again, I'm Brandy Harris. I'm the advisor for Human Development and Family Science. So if you do decide to come to ECU, I will be your advisor for any of these four majors. And the major that we're going to talk about now is Family and Community Services, which Miss Alana, Dr. Freeman mentioned to you earlier, that she has a degree in Family and Community Services. And I also have a degree in Family and Community Services. Also, our Associate Dean, Ms. Susanna Berry, who is our Dean of HHP, has a degree in Family and Community Services. So this degree is very broad. A lot of students compare it to social work, but it's not social work. It's similar, but different. Our beliefs are a little bit different. So basically, if you're interested in working with families in community agencies, this would be a good option for you. And with this degree, we do have two concentrations that you can choose from. We have a family science concentration and a child development concentration, and you do have to choose one or the other. And family science is about working with the family as a whole, I like to say, because you'll take classes in child development 1 and 2, but you'll also take classes in like gerontology, working with the elderly community, because we do know that a life starts in the beginning and then eventually we do have to pass away. So we talk about the whole lifespan in the family science concentration. And so with this degree, you would be prepared to work in many different agencies and organizations. And a really cool thing I like about the family science concentration is just by taking the courses that are required for you, you can get a certification as a family life educator. And I like to tell students that anything that you can do to kind of boost up your resume, whether that's getting a certification in something or doing volunteer hours, anything that you can kind of do to boost up that resume when you get ready to go out into the world to work, I highly suggest that. So being able to get a certification while you're taking your courses is awesome incentive. All right, Alana. And so students always want to know, of course, the whole point of getting a degree is to find a job afterwards. So where can you work with this degree? Many places, healthcare, community education, faith-based agencies, high schools, colleges, and universities. And please know that some of these degrees do require higher degrees, master's degrees, but this is a really good foundation if you were interested in possibly getting a master's in marriage and family therapy, counseling, social work, anything that works with families and children. This is a really good stepping stone. Again, like I said, I have a degree in family community services, and I taught in our child development center for 7 years. I worked in a preschool classroom and our toddler classroom, and I also worked in another child care facility. When I was in school a long time ago, we didn't have concentration, but now we do. And so the child development concentration, of course, focuses on the child. So if you're interested in maybe being like a director of a Boys and Girls Club, or being a director of a child care center, maybe working in adoption and foster care, after school programs, nonprofit organizations, anything in that realm, this major would be a good option for you. And as we mentioned before, all of our degrees do require 120 credit hours. This major requires an overall 2.5 GPA that you have to have and maintain. You will have to have, of course, your 40 hours of general education courses that you have to take for every major. Your English is your science, social sciences, science, etc. And then you'll have your 31 hours of your core courses, which you'll start off with that HDFS 1103 and 2000 that we mentioned before. All 4 majors have to take those courses. The 1103 is our, it was called Marriage and Family Relations. What is 1103 called now? Alana, you teach it.
Yes, it is called individual and romantic relationships.
Yes, individuals, families, and romantic relationships. So all students have to take that course. And then our HDFS 2000 is our Child Development 1, and you all take that as well. Then, depending on your concentration, whether the family science or the child development, you'll take courses that specifically concentrate on that topic. So family science, you would take classes, like I mentioned, like gerontology and trends and issues in family studies. Whereas with the child development concentration, you'll have to do what's called practicums. Well, you'll get that hands-on experience working in our child development center. You'll take an infant and toddler curriculum course and interaction techniques for working with young children. So you'll get that hands-on experience in our child development center. And then just again, a recap, again, family community services, it's a really good option if you're interested in working with families in community agencies. And like I mentioned, like Dr. Desai mentioned before, students do sometimes double major with the child life and the family and community services, because about 9 of the classes that you'll take for child life are the same classes that you would take for family and community services. So it is easy to kind of put those two together to do a double major. You will do an internship at the end of your at your very last semester. It's 352 hours that you'll have to do in a community agency. The semester prior to internship, you will take a course that prepares you for internship. So you have an internship coordinator the semester before and during internship that helps guide you through that internship course and through the internship. And you can choose places, like I mentioned, like Boys and Girls Clubs or child development centers. We've had students to do them at fire departments, homeless shelters, just kind of anywhere that you can think of, court systems, domestic violence shelters, anywhere that you can think of, like I said, that helps to better the community and families and children so that we can have healthy communities. All right, so our next major that we're going to discuss is our birth through kindergarten education degree. This is a teacher education degree, so if you're interested in teaching children ages 0 to 5, this is a good option for you. So if you're interested in working with in preschools or kindergarten or early intervention settings, our birth through kindergarten major will be a good option. With this degree, you will be prepared to be a licensed birth through kindergarten teacher. And the good thing about this is if you're not interested in teaching up to sixth grade, which K through 6 elementary education, you can teach up to sixth grade, birth through kindergarten is strictly 0 to 5. So if you're interested in specifically working with young children up to kindergarten, not past that, this will be a great option for you. So you can work in preschool settings, NC pre-K classrooms, kindergarten classrooms, and you can work in inclusive settings with children who have developmental delays or disabilities. So you can work with those children as well. And again, places that you can work, most students, if they're going for the birth through kindergarten degree, they want to teach in a public school setting. So that is usually the first place that students get jobs. And you will get a job as a teacher. One thing that you will do as a teacher is get a job because there is a high need for teachers in North Carolina. But other places that you could work besides schools, you can work in education centers, early intervention services, which Dr. Desai mentioned before. That's working with children who have developmental delays and disabilities, children ages 0 to 3. And then just kind of anywhere that works with the young children. It prepares you, like I said, to teach, and that's usually what most students go into after they complete this degree. For all teacher education degrees, they require an overall 2.7 GPA. Again, you're going to have that 120 credit hours, the 40 hours of your general education courses, and then it's broken down into specialty areas, such as early experiences in birth through kindergarten, and you'll take classes like learning environments and teaching methods in early childhood. The good thing that I like about the birth through kindergarten program is that you're going to get lots and lots of experience in a classroom setting before you actually go into your internship. So you'll take at least 9 classes that are going to require you, 7 to 9 classes that will require you to do a practicum. So you'll have that hands-on learning. We're not going to send you into an internship when you never stepped into a classroom and never worked with children. So you'll take those classes that will teach you about interaction techniques. You'll take classes that help you to plan lessons and everything that you're going to need to know about working in a classroom setting before you actually go into your internship. You do have to take what's called a praxis exam. And this is kind of like the SATs, if you guys have taken that already, or the PSATs. You'll have to take a reading or writing and the math section. And you'll take this in your junior year, and you will have to be admitted into what's called upper division. There are certain things that you have to do to be admitted into upper divisions, such as taking the praxis, taking our HDFS 2123 course, which is our early experiences course, and then having that 2.7 GPA. With our teacher education degrees, your internship is a year long. So the first semester of your senior year, you're in the classroom 1 day a week. The second semester of your senior year, you're in the classroom 5 days a week as if you were a teacher. So again, you're going to get that, you're going to get lots of experience, that hands-on learning before you actually get into that senior year internship. You'll be well prepared once you get to that internship to teach in a classroom. And again, so this major, we do offer an online section and an on-campus section. The online part is a degree completion program, so you couldn't start it as a true freshman with no credits. But if you have like early college or dual enrollment, then you could do the online program if you like. But please know that for the teacher education degrees, you have to be a resident of North Carolina to do the online program, because once you complete the degree, you will be eligible for a North Carolina teaching license. And I did want to mention one other thing. Our Family Community Services degree now offers an online campus as well. So if you were interested in that, we have online and on campus for our Family Community Services degree and our birth through kindergarten degree.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you, Lana.
Now I'll be going over the Family and Consumer Sciences Education, FACS. Um, in the high school and middle school setting, a lot of students know these teachers as the foods teacher, the early childhood teacher, the culinary teacher. All of those teachers that teach those courses are family and consumer science teachers. So if you ever was interested in being that kind of teacher, that's the title for it at the university level. And it's a wide range of classes that you can teach. If you're like me, I was a FACS teacher for 14 years in all over Eastern North Carolina. And it was definitely what I needed because I was somebody that liked to change up what I do every day. So every semester it was something different. Like one semester I taught apparel, the next semester I taught foods and nutrition. And this is just a list of all the different classes that FACS teachers are that they are qualified to teach in the middle and high school setting in North Carolina. And you can see those there all the way down from interior design, food and nutrition, culinary arts. And they even have a new course now on mental health and well as teaching and training. So you actually teach high school students how to be an effective teacher. So the field is really growing and there is a huge need for family and consumer science teachers. So it's 100% job placement as same with BK and mostly any field dealing with human and health. Right now you will definitely find a job upon graduating. Now, where do you work? High school settings, middle school settings. In some places in North Carolina, some places do not have FACS in the middle school, but you will get a license that qualify you for at least, I believe it's 6th or 7th grade, along all the way up to the 12th grade. And then you can also branch out. Like I said, I was a FACS teacher for 14 years. So just because you get your undergraduate in one area, Brandy, she used to work in the child development lab. Now she's an advisor. So every degree in the HDFS is a great stepping stone and has a good base to grow your career, whether you want to go higher in your career or you just truly just want to be a teacher, which is phenomenal in itself. So just know that there's a lot of different pathways you can take with most of these majors, especially family and consumer sciences. And back in the days, some of your parents may have known it as home ec. Right. So when usually we say home ec, oh, I know what you're talking about, so home ec, but we use family and consumer sciences, and just be very specific at ECU and do not confuse that with the other SCS. But we'll lead you in the right direction. Both programs are great, so we'll be fine. I don't want to be too redundant, but it's basically the same thing. 2.7 GPA with all teacher license degrees, 120 hours, your general core curriculum, and then you have to pass the praxis. There are some things in the work now way above my pay grade that say that might be changing in a little while. But as we know with government, everything works at their own time. So for now, yes, you still have to pass the praxis to become a teacher in North Carolina, and the internship is a year-long internship as well. And just some last notes, this program is offered 100% online. And note that the online program is only open to North Carolina residents, and FACS teachers are qualified to be family and career and community leaders of America advisors. So there's a club at the high school level called FCCLA, and that's what it stands for. And so once you graduate, you are already with that degree, teacher license, you are already automatic qualified to be an advisor for that club. So you can start the club at whatever school that you are in. Now, I'm going to touch a little bit on the minor. This is our last thing that we're going over today. And the minor in HDFS, Brandy talked about it a little bit earlier, Ms. Harris, and it complements a lot of degrees that you just want to get that focus on the family life cycle. So if you want to learn about all the way through the entire lifespan. It's a good just overall umbrella minor to help undergird your major, especially like if you're going to be a lawyer and you want to be a family lawyer, or if you're going to be in law enforcement and you want to work with the family side of juvenile justice. Um, if you got a little bit of family, but you don't want to go all the way in the FDS major, this is just perfect. It's a 24-hour course load, and most minors will fit just smoothly into that. And so just talk with your advisors. We have great advisors at ECU. And just a final note that for what I have to say is that, as you can see, many of us are alumni and we stay because of just the nurturing that you get at ECU. They don't just, we're just not a dollar sign. So they care about you as an individual. They write references for you. They give you the skills you need to get jobs and get employed in the community. And you should come to ECU and be a pirate.
Yes. And just to piggyback off of what Alana said about the minor, we have several students that major in nursing, or speech and language pathology, like she mentioned before, kind of anything that you can think of, biology. So we can kind of fit that with anything. I've had students that want to be psychologists, and they want to do child psychology. So if you're interested in doing something like that, the minor again works really well with just about any major. And a lot of times, especially our psychology degrees, a lot of times students come in at psychology and they decide later on they get into the HDFS minor, and then they double major with family community services and psychology because they want to be a child psychologist. We can kind of fit almost anything that you're interested in to one of our degrees. So if you're interested in coming to ECU, it really is a great place. Like I said, I got my degree from here and I came to ECU and I never left. I started working here and it's been a really great experience. Both of my children went to our child development center here. So ECU is really ingrained in my life and my family, and HDFS. All the people that I've met and known have been really amazing. Dr. Desai was one of my professors for our family and culture diversity class. And I still remember a book that we read maybe like 20 years ago. So it's a great place to work, a great place to learn, a great place to live. And if you have any questions about just generally about the majors or even about life at ECU, please let us know. And if you have any questions, just again about ECU, I can put my email address in the chat. Feel free to email me, and I can help get you started and help you on the path to coming to ECU and being a pirate.
All right, thank you guys so much. So we are going to now open it up to questions. So you can unmute yourself. We'd love to hear and see from you, or you can drop something in the chat. Again, any questions about the major or the minor, about ECU specifically, about the application process, how you need to apply, anything like that, we are able to help you with. And as you're getting your questions together, I'll just say if you like what you hear and you're interested, they mentioned birth through kindergarten, family and consumer sciences education, and family and community services all have the option, a distance education option. So you could be an online student if you need to, but if you're interested in coming to ECU and you want to check it out some more, we do have an HHP Admitted Students Day on Friday, February 21st. And then we have Pirates Aboard, which is our Admitted Students Day for the university on March 29th. And you can register for either of those through admissions. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. So as I'm looking into colleges, I know that I've heard ECU has an honors college, and does that at all impact the classes, or does that still work with the in-person options? And just what would that be like? What kind of stuff would that impact?
Yeah, so the honors college, you have to apply early to ECU, And then once you apply early, then they open up the honors college application. I think the deadline's like in November or something like that. But if you're accepted into the honors college, essentially what you do is you do a few extra, depending on your level, because you could be, well, no, they're getting rid of the levels now, I think. So it'll be you take your first semester, you do an honors 2000 class, which is just like you're with other honors college students. You have to do honors seminar courses, which are specialized courses that only honors students can take. Um, they do carry gen eds like a social science, humanity, or fine art, and they're usually very specific special topics, like it's something that we don't necessarily offer otherwise. And then you have to do a signature honors project as well. And so with that, you get to live in Green Hall or Green Residence Hall, and then, do trips and things like that with other honors college students throughout the year. Does that kind of answer your question, Lucy?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, okay. Um, so another question in the chat. I'm in an early college program and hope to have my associate's degree by the time I graduate high school. Can I go ahead and take the praxis in high school?
The praxis can be taken in high school, but with everything up in the air about changes, and you are, look like you said you were just getting ready to come in as a freshman, I would wait. Brandy might can touch bases a little bit more, but I would hate for you to go through paying for the praxis and all that stuff, and then you get here in your sophomore year, and it's like, oh yeah, you don't require that anymore.
So, because you're in early college, you are already taking some college courses, so you probably will come in as a sophomore, maybe I'm thinking, maybe sophomore or junior.
Oh, okay.
Um, you can take the praxis if you haven't taken like math yet, like a college math. I would say to wait. If you have already taken it, you definitely can. Um, we do like for students to take it the earlier the better, just in case you have to take it again. Um, so yeah, you definitely could take it, but we just want to make sure that you've already had like your math, your college math, and your college English. Just because it is a reading, a writing, and a math part, we just want to make sure that you already have that college experience under your belt, so you have a better chance of getting the score that you want for the practice. No problem.
And then also
Serenity.
too, oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. No, go
I was
ahead.
just I was gonna say that that's for your reading and your math practice, but the other practice in your major, you definitely want to wait until you actually take some courses in your major so you'll know the content to practice, like the pass the facts level or the BK level praxis, correct, Brandon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Serenity, do you go to like an early college or anything like that? Or you're just gonna graduate from high school early? Because I know that we accept early high school graduates who have an associate's degree from an early college. Um, I would have to check on just if it's since you're just graduating from a high school. Let me check on that and let you know because you have to meet, freshman residency requirements and those types of things as well. And I don't know that off the top of my head, but I will let you know. If we do not accept early graduates, I would recommend spending that one semester or whatever it is at maybe like a community college and getting some, like Miss Harris had mentioned, getting some English out the way, getting your psychology 1000 out the way, getting some of those classes out of the way, and then coming in as a transfer student.
Okay.
It is HDFS Family Sciences for the last for face question.
Yeah, it's the minor is human development and family science. Yes,
Yeah. If,
HTF.
if I said family relations, it's because I'm old, and back when I was a student, it was actually child development and family relations. So I'm telling my age a little bit. So that might have been a slip of the tongue on my part, but it is now HDFS Family Sciences. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Coming
That's
from
a
an
great
early college
question.
program. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Lucy.
So I will have had two child development classes, maybe three. I think just two, and then a lot of my others out of the way. So would coming in with those make me a sophomore, and would that impact the path I would have to take or anything?
So we do freshman, sophomore, junior classification by the number of credit hours you have. So if you come in with 30 hours, then you're considered a sophomore. Now it depends on what we can apply to the major to see how far along and see if you could graduate early with the degree. But it sounds like you've taken some applicable courses that we could at least use as like restricted electives and things like that. Miss Harris may be a little bit more knowledgeable in that, but it sounds like possibly you could. Are you getting an AA or an AS degree, or you're just
I'm
taking classes?
getting an AA.
You're getting an AA. Okay. So we should, if you're getting an AA, that should give you a really good start. Is it the A? It's not the AA in early childhood education, though, is it? It's just an associate of arts.
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, so that you should be finished with pretty much your gen eds, unless whichever major you're doing requires specific gen eds. But sounds like you're done with your gen eds and you could basically start right in the major. If you
Okay.
send Miss Harris a a copy of your unofficial transcript, she could do a transcript evaluation for you and kind of give you an idea.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Lucy, do you know which major that you're interested in?
Yes, I am very interested in child life specialist.
That's what I figured. Yeah. So I do like to tell students with child life, it's a little bit different because there are some specific courses that you have to have. And if you haven't had those, you'll have to take them once you get here. And then some of our courses are um, spring only and fall only, and then there is a sequence in which they have to go. So I
Okay.
know that you guys hear a lot that, it's exactly 2 years from the time, if you have your associate's degree. That's not always the case, just depending on how many credits that you take. If you get into the program the first time, there are other factors. I do like to tell students that usually 2.5 years, again, depending on when you start, um, what your grades are, you will have to have a B or higher in those child development courses that you already took. I'm pretty sure you probably took child development 1 or 2, like EDU 144, 145.
Yes, I did
Um,
both of those.
yeah. Did you pass them with a B or higher? Well, you don't have to tell me that in front of
Yes, I
everyone.
did. I did.
Okay. But as long as you pass them with a B or higher, not B minus. If you get a B minus, you have to retake. But as long as you have a B or higher, those will transfer in and as completed. And then you do have to have a B or higher in your major courses. Um, but we work with you to get through the classes. As far as child life, you can only apply for the program in spring semesters. So if you were coming in the fall, we would get you started in some of those other courses that you'll need for this spring to apply. The thing with coming in the fall and having a lot of those classes completed, you really have to hit the ground running as soon as you get to ECU to have and maintain a 3.0 GPA so that you can apply for the program in the spring semester, spring of 26, if you're coming in the fall. So we would just work real closely together to make sure that you're getting the classes that you need to get into and that you have a good solid GPA when you come. And then, we make sure that you got your volunteer hours done and everything that you need in the fall. So you really have to hit the ground running to be able to apply to the program in the spring semester.
Okay. I have one more question about the hours.
Mhm.
So how early can you start doing that? Because I've worked as an intern at a camp for kids with disabilities. Am I able to count that even though I'm not in the program yet?
So we do like you to start your hours once you're in college.
Okay.
Um, so, and we want you to, and that's great that you're getting some experience. So you kind of know what you're interested in. But we do want you to start those hours once you get in college, get to ECU. You have to have at least 50 hours. And you can start those at the hospital. So like if you know you're coming in the fall, you know child life is what you want to do, I would suggest going ahead. I think the application for volunteers for the fall, I want to say is September is what I looked at. I'm not entirely sure, but you can look on the ECU Health Volunteer, just Google ECU Health Volunteers. It'll pop up. And it's just a really short application. It just wants to know like your name, your address, what grade you're in. So of course, once you get to college, you can say that you're a college student. And you'll want to work specifically with children in those child life room,
Mhm.
because if not, they'll put you in patient transport or wherever. But we want you to be work specifically with children. And once you get to ECU,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
We have a question in the chat from Faith. She said, how would a family and community services degree prepare for speech and language pathology or occupational therapy? I can talk about the OT one. I'm not super familiar with
I'm not
the
super
like.
familiar about the other either.
Okay. For mostly those types of programs, they're graduate level programs, right? Professional programs, and you have to have specific classes to apply to those programs and be eligible. So I know a lot of our students use family and community services for occupational therapy because it allows you to get all of the psychology and science courses you need to apply to that program, but it also helps with like your understanding, especially if you want to be like a child OT or work in pediatrics. It's for OT you have to have like three sites, medical terminology, anatomy and physiology one, anatomy and physiology two, and
So
maybe
sociology or anthropology.
sociology,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and ethics as well,
Mm-hmm.
or a
Yep.
philosophy class. So that family and community services is flexible enough that it allows you to incorporate all of those. So
With
yeah.
with the other one also too, it is it follows all the courses in family and community services tend to fall towards the APA. So like when you're completing your research papers and your different courses and your annotated bibliographies, they're preparing you for the grad school level anyway with your research and writing, and they follow the APA style with instead of the MLA style, which focuses more on like a different, so it's more of the behavioral side. So it prepares you for the field of working with humans at a master's level while you're only on the bachelor's level, if that makes sense to you. So when you get into grad school and you have to write these research papers according to the APA style, you already get a little bit of that. Even in HDFS 1103, which is a freshman level course, we do a research paper in APA style, and you get to practice running references and researching through that family behavioral science approach.
And we do have several students that do the family community services degree and do the occupational therapy prereqs. And so with that, you would have, we have what's called a pre-professional advising center. So if you were to do the family community services, I would be your primary advisor. And then you would also have a pre-professional advisor that would kind of help you to navigate the occupational therapy courses. And again, the courses are easy to fit in because you can use some of those for your general education courses, like philosophy that you have to take for OT. That can be double dipped as a humanities course. And then like you have to take abnormal psych and developmental psych, the social sciences, as well as OT prereqs. So you're kind of using you have to have electives as well with family community services, a certain amount of electives to meet that 120 credit hours. Those occupational therapy courses can be used as electives to meet that 120 credit hour total anyway. So why not get those prereqs out of the way that can be used multiple places, as well as getting you prepared for that master's in occupational therapy while you're getting your bachelor's degree? That's a really great question, Faith.
Do we have any other questions?
I do. I have a question.
Okay.
So I'm at Pitt Community College right now. I'm finishing up in May, and I've been accepted at ECU. I start in August, so I guess I'm just trying to figure out who my advisor will be, I guess, which I've already figured out. But then I guess when to start signing up because I want to be a director. Um, so I'm trying to figure out what classes to take and who my advisor is so I could sit down and really talk with somebody one-on-one on what classes I would need to take.
Yeah. Have you submitted an enrollment deposit yet, Raven?
Not yet. I was going to in the
Okay.
next week.
Okay, so that's when we usually, you probably got an email from me, honestly, last week or within the past few weeks,
Yes.
if it was from HHP Advising.
Yes, I just saw one,
So,
yes.
okay, yeah, yeah. So once you pay your enrollment deposit, then we reach back out to you and I'll let you know, hey, Miss Harris is your advisor. And then you'll get a link to her bookings page and you can schedule an appointment with her then. Um, Registration for fall, I don't, you said you were fall admit. So
Mm-hmm.
registration for fall classes is going to be like at the end of March, early April. So
Mm-hmm.
we are telling students, try to go ahead and schedule an appointment, transfer students schedule an appointment in February or early March. That way you have your PIN, you know what to register for, and you'll be ready to go right when registration starts.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No problem. Right. Well, I will be, and we'll be hanging out for a few more minutes. But thank you all so much for coming. We're so excited to see you. We're excited to be working with you. We'll drop our emails in the chat real quick in case you have any follow-up questions that you would like to ask us that you think of later or anything like that. But we are very much looking forward to working with you and hope to see you soon. Thank you for
Thanks,
coming.
guys.